and I got to look at Ocala as an example, is you go west of the interstate, and they're big believers in the thoroughbred industry, but you go east of the interstate, it's a different story. And so for me, I had the privilege years back, and I'll come back to that, but I had a privilege years back to go over to, what's the event in London, the tourism day over there? Anyway, Travel Market. And so when I went there, let me tell you what, who all's been by chance? Anybody gone? Okay, good. A few hands have gone up. And I don't know if this is a testimony you came back with or not, but I went over there. I was in the tourism industry at that point in time. I actually was serving under Leno and Don Moliterno's here and Carol and some others that I got to know through the process. But I was serving in a role to unify an effort in Northwest Florida. It was 6 counties. We expanded to 7. It's called Coastal Vision. And what I recognized in that, there was almost 7 counties. There was something unique about each of the 7 counties that the other 6 did not have. But what made us special, what made us cool, was when we came together and focused on what united us as opposed to divided us. And that strength, that unification effort gave us a voice that we came to Tallahassee or other parts of the Florida or other parts of the world, that we could be united as one. And so when I went over to this travel mart in Europe, I went over thinking, man, my only taste of this thing is unification and focus on his united front. And when I went there and looked at the tours and the booths and all these things around the world that they had there, the one that I became discouraged by was a booth that was called the United States, because it wasn't united at all. It was a bunch of fragmented efforts that were there to be a front to show the rest of the world. And I came back with a different voice or song in my heart to say, you know what? Our competition, when I went to that, I came back and I challenged some people in there. Our competition was not with each other. I started asking questions. Who's our competition? They'd write this and that and our neighbors. And I found out, no, our competition is other destinations around the world. And it's not each other. Florida is, we are all shares, we all own shares of the same company stock. And Ed McMullen's here in the front, and we're all, for me, for those that know me, I know Richard Turner helped me, we're all flavors of ice cream in the same ice cream shop. And I love ice cream, and I'm a big believer in that. But Florida is a brand that is unparalleled and unmatched anywhere else in the world. And you, as a tourism industry, you have become the front porch to the world. There's challenges that people say to us, and me being a person of faith, they'll say, go to the world and touch the world. But the truth of the matter is the world is coming to us. And from this stage, from this state, through your industry, we can change the world. Because I believe one taste, one encounter that you give them from your front porch becomes a game changer, not just in the landscape of who we touch in the Southeast, but who we can touch in the world. And so each of you have a call. Each of you have a mission. Each of you have a purpose. And it's through the unification and the collaboration of those efforts. There's a scripture that says that when the body was meant to fit together perfectly. And as each part does its own special work, it helps the other parts grow. For me, that is called a culture of honor. That means someone, they come into you, they may come into your front desk, that first chance encounter and experience they have can be the game-changing moment in their life and their whole trip. When they go and they leave your property and they go somewhere else in the community to have a restaurant experience or even a gas station experience, we want that encounter that when they go back to their state, to say, I don't know what's going on in Florida, but I got to get back. That taste, that encounter is our opportunity. They also are challenged, but that's why I put great honor on every piece of the puzzle within your organization, because it's a collective effort through that gives that encounter. That's why Visit Florida is so important to me, is that I've recognized that, independently, yeah, whatever, but it's that unified front, that unified voice. For us, Senator Gruder's hit on, he's a great champion in the Senate, and that he hit on it is just, Northwest Florida just came out of the storm of Hurricane Michael. And there may be some other areas that might have a little more perhaps than us, but if it wasn't for Visit Florida to come in behind that to say, we're still open for business. After the oil spill, I think our tagline was, our beaches are open. It's those efforts, the importance of Visit Florida and the tourism industry, that's really, really important. And so for me, I'm really humbled that I'm even getting the chance to carry the bill, because that bill is extremely important to me, and I think it's important that we get it through the Florida House. And so I know that you're here. I know this is the day, Tourism Day, and I celebrate tourism because for me, I used to be mayor of Destin for anybody up in our neck of the woods, and so tourism is a big part of our culture. And so there's some Destin folks. Come on, now, where's my people? Let's go. So what I would kind of challenge us with is, from my Destin, I saw Southern Living just gave us the best beach again for Southern Living. I think it's 20 years in a row, whatever it is. And I'll close, and I'm sorry, Lena. You shouldn't give me the mic, man. I feel like who's got the offering plate? We're going to do something. So, you put a cookie in it is good. That's good. When I was mayor of Destin, I guess what I got challenged with, and I'll just kind of challenge maybe y'all with this, one's a culture of hospitality. I went so far when I was mayor, I wanted a tagline under my city saying a city of hospitality. And I would love nothing more to see when people come into our state to say a state of hospitality. And you get it. This is the industry. If anyone gets it, you get it. But here's where I became challenged, and I hope I can challenge you a little bit in that, is when you look at the definition of hospitality, and then you have to look it up. It does talk about how we treat people. But for us, I mean, a lot of times in the outside, they'll say, oh, it must be how we treat somebody from Knoxville, Nashville, Atlanta, wherever else coming into our state. That's hospitality. Yeah, it is. But the definition actually is how we treat each other. And I think how we really start and stop with the culture of hospitality is within our state. It's how we treat each other. It's how we treat our neighbors down the street. It's our next door neighbor, a guy across the hall. It's important that we honor, because at the end of the day, we're family. We're maybe parts in different states, but we're Florida, we're family. And a lot of times people will say, hey, come to Florida and have a family experience. Come here, and yeah, absolutely. Come here and have a family experience. But what I want when somebody comes to this state is to not only have a family experience, but to experience family. Because when they go back home, I want that to be in their soul, that they had some kind of encounter that they never had somewhere else. And so it left me with a challenge when I was the mayor of Destin. Yeah, we have #1 beach destination in Southern Living. That's awesome. All these great things about our beach destination and our vacation spot. But for me, and I'll close with this, and I'm sorry, but it left with me with a challenge that we got to put something on the end of that. Is, yeah, we've achieved some great things, and I'm happy. But for me, there should be a comma at the end of that quote to start asking the question, maybe #1, but the comma, now what? Now what? Our greatest moment in history would be what we do with what's been given to us. And I think each and every day we're challenged and called with an opportunity to affect and infect someone's life that comes to your front door of your restaurant, your hotel, your lodging provider, that will wreck them for the rest of their life in amazing ways. So when they go back home, they're telling a story that is untold by anyone else because of the encounter you've given them in their life. And you don't know the effect you'll have on them, whether it's next year, 10 years from now, when they look back and say, I had that one encounter, and by golly, it changed me. And I think differently about myself. And the sand of your beach has gotten not only my shoes, but into my soul. So now I'm a cheerleader for Florida. Not just the industry, but the stories being retold. Anyway, I'm honored. Thanks. Thank you for your time. I'm honored to be here. Go run your race. We need you to run your race. Thanks so much for having me today. God bless.